Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. My name is Thomas Bailey alongside Cooper Shreves. We are all set for the last show of our season and our year as well. So happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all of that fun stuff for anybody that celebrates as we hop into our final show here. Cooper, the Buffalo Bandits season just started with a 15-11 win over the Georgia Swarm. What can you tell me about the season and home opener for the Buffalo Bandits?
Well, they won their first game. It was a home game, and they have 3 straight champion wins. So we're very excited for the new season, to them maybe winning another championship. Midfield Dane Johnson was an absolute powerhouse. He scored 4 goals and assisted 4 others. And forward Ryan Benish, who was new, got his first goal of the season. People were worried about him because he's 40 years old, and he appeared to have been slowing down last year with the team he was playing for, but he seems to be picking it up this season. Their next game is against the Halifax Thunderbirds on December 13th at KeyBank Center at 7 p.m. The Bandits beat them last April, but with new players, that could go either way. The Thunderbirds have Nathan Fair. He is 21 years old, 6 foot tall, and he is their defender. He's going to bring a lot of new energy. And the Bandits just signed Mike Triolo, who's a little older, but he is a forward and he is 6'8", so that should help.
Oh, yeah, totally. We'll see what ends up happening with the Bandits as they look for their 4th consecutive championship. It would be the first time in NLL history that would happen for somebody. Switching back to Buffalo State women's hockey here. They are set to play 7 non-conference games before closing out their season with all conference matchups. They started on the road in Hilbert and Hamburg, New York, twice in a row. Hilbert is currently 0-6 overall, 0-4 in conference play. So these should be 2 wins that Buffalo State should be able to handle on the road. They have yet to lose to Hamburg since playing them for the first time 4 seasons ago. They are undefeated at 5-0 since then. They would now, after that, they will head back home for a 4-game homestand, which will start with 2 games against New England College, a pretty middle-of-the-pack team from Massachusetts, as kind of indicated by that New England head title. They are 3-5 in overall and 2-3 in conference play, so that should be an interesting matchup with them. Look for gritty defensive battles with their senior goaltender in net for them. And then we'll have a home game against St. John Fisher University, who will be traveling a lot recently. That'll be their 5th straight road game, so hopefully we can take advantage. They are 2-5-1 currently, 0-3-1 in conference play, the worst start since 2019 for the St. John Fisher's hockey team for the women's side. Hopefully they can turn it around for them, and hopefully we can take advantage of that. As we move into the last home game, it's against Hilbert once again. Like I mentioned, 0-6 overall, 0-4 in conference play. That should be a 3rd chance to get another win there. All winnable games so far until you look at the last game. It is against the Nazareth Fighting Eagles. That's going to be very tough. The University of Nazareth has been very good this year. They're 8-0. They're 4-0 in conference play, which is the fastest they've ever gotten to 8 wins in their entire team's history since the program opened up in 1987. So hopefully they can continue to get things going there. I have spoke to head coach Rachel Gramp on this entire 7-game stretch, and she thinks that they can get a pretty good stretch going here before returning to conference play, stating, "We've got a great opportunity to gain some momentum. We understand it's never easy, but we expect to return to conference play a better team." Hopefully they can, and hopefully they can show that they are not the same old Buffalo State Bengals team that finished 2-14-2 in conference last year. Hopefully they can get things together and potentially make the SUNYAC playoffs before the season ends. And with that being said, we'll be right back in just one moment with Jake and Joe to talk about some football.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're going to take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Hello and welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm Jake Moss, joined by Joe Marguccio, and I'm going to lead off this segment talking about some Buffalo State football. I know in the last show I mentioned how the season was over, and we went over a couple of award winners there was, and we've had a recent development that students around campus have kind of noticed. If you look on the website, a lot of the coaches are no longer on the website, including the only ones remaining that are currently hired as coaches being the offensive coordinator, Coach Nichols, running backs coach Anthony Matthews, and defensive assistant, Coach Drywa. Now, what this means, this doesn't necessarily mean the coaches were fired, although that's going to be the term that you hear thrown around everywhere. What this is likely is a non-renewal choice or declination of renewal. What you usually hear is mutually agreeing to part ways with the head coach, defensive coordinator, and special teams coordinator. Now, what this means for Buffalo State going forward, they're going to look to hire, and given that there's been no word or official release yet, it doesn't seem like a in-house promotion is in order. So you're going to look for them to go out of house to find that new hire. And what they'll likely do is model their coaching staff around other teams in the area, like Morrisville State or Cortland, that have made some success or at least some sort of consistency in their staff going forward. Now, this comes after a tenure that had a 6-34 record for Coach Morgan. So not really the results you wanted to see, even though that is technically an improvement on the 1-29 in the 3 seasons prior. So there's a lot to look forward to for this program. It'll be exciting to see how the new coach implements his system when they get here and how the overall staff works. The timeline they're aiming for is to have one signed in mid-February so that they can get spring ball started for the roster.
All right. You know what? The way you said that about the coaches, about maybe firing and stuff like that, and how it was all going to be done, the verbiage was perfect.
I appreciate that.
There was absolutely no gossip in that,
Mhm.
none whatsoever. So going on to high school football, it was not a good weekend for Western New York. We had blood, sweat, and brotherhood as the teams went to Syracuse, not the Dome. If they won this weekend, they would have played in the Dome. Bennett fell to perennial powerhouse, Christian Brothers Academy, as you know that.
Yep.
We knew that was going to be a heck of a game. And just Bennett, they got beat up pretty good, 34-14. Class C, Chautauqua Lake, Westfield, Brockton played Shenango Forks, another tough school out that way. And it was 20-14. They could not come back. But Newfane, the one team I thought could win with Matt Capon, we've talked about Matt Capon all year. They got down 14-0, and they clawed their way back in, but they fell short 20-14, and that ended their perfect season. St. Francis actually lost to the prep school Iona, so they did not win their championship. But, you know, football, it's a long season, man. These guys start in August. You know that. It's dog day, you know, heat, lifting, watching film, and it's a long road to get where these guys got. I mean, only 3 teams from all Western New York made it this far.
Especially as kids, too. I mean,
Yeah.
You got to talk about, you got class and everything.
Yeah. So now you got that bus ride back from Syracuse back to Buffalo. It's a long bus ride, man. It hurts. Okay. And it's just probably quiet because I had a bus ride once and I had some freshmen and they were all, ooh, yeah. We lost. Well, we got off the bus in the pouring rain and we ran. And we ran and the parents sat there like, what is the coach doing? I'm like, no, these kids thought they won the game. No, you got to learn. But these guys went to Western New York, from Western New York, went to Syracuse. They lost. When does next season start?
All the way in August. But for the ones who are actually committed, the season starts now.
Yeah, exactly. It starts now. For the good coaches that want to be there, next year, you're getting ready.
Absolutely.
You get 2 weeks off. You're in the weight room. you're watching film, you got to do it.
And it's hard to get kids committed to do that. Too.
Yeah,
They
it
just
is.
want to break.
But that's how you get the good programs. That every year they're good. Otherwise, you got teams that go, we'll start in August. Well, if you start in August, you're behind because you should be playing 7-on-7. You should be doing all this stuff. Your linemen should be going to camps. But that's where we wrap up for high school football this year. Looking forward to it next year. And we remember next year, they do not have anywhere to play championship games.
Yeah, with the new stadium.
The Bills said no. Although I heard that stadium's not being knocked down because if the new one's not ready,
then they might need it.
Yeah, but who knows if to let anybody in it. What did I tell you, sir? You can answer. Where did I tell you they might play? UB.
I like that. They have a lot of seating capacity for these high school games that some of the other venues either can't use or don't necessarily use.
All right. And that's a wrap. We got 2 new guys coming up. Cam and Ryan.
Yep.
All right. We'll be right back.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's lumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're just taking care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Very right.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. My name is Ryan Vitona, along with Cameron here. And today we're going to jump into some hockey. Cameron's got the NHL. I'm going to start off with some college hockey. Let's start off with Canisius University hockey. They were looking to get some consistency going after getting swept a couple of weeks ago against Sacred Heart University on the road. That was an unfortunate swept. They did not play well at all. And then they came back home to play a winless Mercyhurst team at the Lee Cobb Harbor Center, which I spoke about last time. That was their upcoming game. And that 2-game series saw forward Hunter Price score his first collegiate goal in night 1, which was on Friday in a 4-3 win. Griffs got out to score 4 unanswered goals in the start of the first period, and then Mercyhurst would come back throughout the game, but Canisius was just able to hold them off. And then on Saturday night, the Griffs would get off on a hot start again, making a 4-0 lead after the first period and stood on their ground, winning that game 5-1. That was a big 6 points in that win, that weekend, for the Griffs. And Kylan Hannity was named Atlantic Hockey America's Rookie of the Week for the week, November 25th. And then last weekend, the Griffs had a home weekend on Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. As they hosted Air Force, they would end up splitting the series with Game 1, with the Griffs scoring up 2-0 on Friday. And unfortunately, Air Force would move the momentum, scoring 4 goals in the third period to get the win there. There was an unfortunate Friday game for the Griffs, and then they would go bounce back. They would unfortunately blow a 3-2 lead. They would get the extra point in overtime, and that would bring their record to 7-7-2 overall on the overall record of the season, and 3-5-2 in conference play in Atlantic Hockey American play, sitting tied for 5th place with 13 points on the season. And now, coming up this weekend, the Grizz got a big-time battle with one of the top teams in their conference. That's the Rochester Institute of Technology Tigers. And they will have a home-and-home game, with Friday's game being in Rochester and Saturday's game being here in downtown Buffalo. Both games will be starting at 7 p.m. in the Harbor Center. If you can't make it to the game, you can watch it on Flow Sports, or if you want to go buy tickets, go to GoGriffs.com. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Cameron, with NHL.
All right, Lauren. Let's talk Sabres.
Yep.
So they started off their December strong with a 2-game win streak. This is big, This is really big. They went against Minnesota Wild 3-2 in overtime. Osland, they secured the win for them in overtime. Nice little shootout goal. And Minnesota's only goals in the game were scored in the first. So this gave the Sabres ample opportunity to catch up. And they did. And they won. And it's great. After that, they took that momentum into the next game against the Winnipeg Jets. And guess what? They won. Yeah, they won 5-1. 4-goal difference. That's pretty big. Winnipeg, they only had one measly little goal in the second, but to no avail because the Sabres were kicking a little bit of butt. So this is the kind of Sabres hockey that I personally love to watch. Unlike that game against the Devils, the scoreless game against the New Jersey Devils, that was very disappointing, to say the least.
In front of all the kids, too, on Black Friday.
In front of all the kids on Black Friday. It's brutal. It was bad.
They chose to go to a Sabres game when we're going Black Friday shopping.
So the Sabres play tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers in Philadelphia, and hopefully they can carry that tenacity from their last game into this one. Turn that 2-game win streak into a 3-game win streak. And you said before the show,
6-game road trip.
Six-game road trip.
Which last year, at this point, they went on to go to a 10-game losing streak, and it really tanked the season for them.
Hopefully the 6-game road trip will not be
Like
the
last
tanker.
year.
Yeah, hopefully. All you can do is hope with the Sabres, honestly. We'll be right back with Puce and Mario with some basketball and soccer coverage.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's lumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm Puce alongside Mario, and we got some soccer and basketball action to get into. We'll start off right with the Buffalo State men's basketball team. They had their second home game last night against Alfred University, in which they won 66-62. That now takes the Bengals to 4-2 on the record, and they have now won 3 games in a row. The Bengals won. This game was pretty convincingly, although it was a tough game. They had the turnover battles is really where they won the game. Buffalo State Bengals had 8 turnovers compared to Alfred State's 17. and Buffalo State would convert on these turnovers by scoring 23 points, in which Alfred State would only score 9 of their turnovers. 3 Bengals scored in double digits. Ephraim Strong had 18 points. Jacob O'Pear had 17 points in only 21 minutes of gameplay. And of course, Z Johnson added in with 10 points. The Bengals will open up SUNYAC play this Friday as they play against Potsdam University. And Saturday, they'll play against Plattsburgh State to carry on the SUNYAC play. As we look forward to these upcoming matches and to the upcoming season, the Bengals have showed that they can play with just about anybody, anywhere, at any time. So we'll be hoping that they can complete the mission and go really far this season.
Let's hope.
Let's hope, right?
Let's hope. For soccer today, a short story about one of the players, Puce. Can you guess how many international players does the men's soccer team has from the Buffalo State?
There's 11 players on the field at a time. The team has about, I don't know,
25
to 30. I would say about 7 are international.
7? Well,
yeah.
There's 8. There's actually
close.
8. There's more, but they're considered resident here in the U.S., so they're not considered international student. But there's 8. And today, one of the international students I talked to, he's from Spain. He's one of the players that came. There's only 2 players that came here to Buffalo State as freshmen. Most of them, they came from another school. They're transfer students and they moved here, but there's only 2. One is Lucas Noah Ciarosa, who he's from England, and the other one is Adrián Contreras. He's from Madrid, Spain. This is his 3rd year. He came here as a freshman from Madrid. He started his football career in town nearby Madrid. The club is called Sport Villa Vallecas. Then at a young age, he moved to Rivas Vacia Madrid, and he played there for Rivas Football Club. He is the goalkeeper for the men's soccer team, but he was not always a goalkeeper. You know, the old goalkeeper stories, they never started. And they always end up as a goalkeeper. He started as a left back. Then he moved to the goalkeeper position. Then when he was in his last year of high school, and I'm going to quote him, he said, "When I was in my last year of high school, randomly I thought about this crazy idea of going to a foreign country to study and pursue a greater level of soccer." Wow. Imagine just your last year just deciding,
That's crazy.
I'm just leaving.
I didn't know. I graduated high school. I did not know what I wanted to do. That is crazy.
So he decided to move here to the United States. He's a mechanical engineer major. He actually decided to move to Buffalo State because from all the schools that offer him to play soccer, Buffalo State was the only one who offered him this major.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why he ended up here. When he was at Spain, he was looking for a place where he can play and study at the same time. In other countries, you don't have this advantage of playing and study at the same time. That's why a lot of people migrate here to the U.S., especially 100%. Young people, so they can play and study at the same time. That was one of my case as well. I came here because I wanted to play and study at the same time. But again, he said he was a tough challenge. It was really hard to adapt here. When he came here, his English was not very good, and then it was because of the team, his teammates, and everyone surrounding him helped him to adapt to the life in here. He was here by himself, nobody else. So he's a really good goalkeeper. He reminds me, you're an Arsenal fan.
I am an Arsenal fan.
And he reminds me a lot of David Raya. Yeah. He's very good. He's a playmaker goalkeeper. He's really good with his feet. Yeah. He's great. He's very agile, and he has a really high sense of leadership as well. But again, really good with his feet, smart under pressure, and I have the pleasure to go to some trainings with them, and he comes into the small-sided, and I can tell you he's at the same level of a lot of players in the team, like with his feet. He's really good.
That's
really
impressive.
good with his feet. He's a great person. He's very funny. He's
always willing to help people that are not interested in sports. When I came here to school, he was one of the first persons he also helped me to adapt in here. So that's what we have for soccer. A small story about Adrián Contreras from Spain.
Well, what a lad. And we have a lot more sports to get into. Straight off to this break, we got some NFL action to get into. We'll get Jake on and, keep the show going as we do. Buffalo Sports Insider will be right back after these commercial breaks.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's lumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello and welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm Jake Moss, joined by Pius Katengi. And we got a lot going on in the NFL. I say this every week, and it just keeps getting better. We got a lot to fit into this segment, so we'll get right to it, starting with the NFC playoff picture. I think the playoffs are obviously what everyone wants to see. Specifically, the NFC playoffs present a very unique challenge. Now, we know division winners get an automatic bid. The only one that's really in flux that kind of throws everything off is the NFC South. It'll be the Bucs or the Panthers, and that team is generally going to have the worst record in the conference. But the overall picture, the 1 seed has 9 wins. The 7 seed has 9 wins. So it presents an interesting challenge where one loss can not only take you out of the 1 seed, but out of the playoffs.
Out of the playoffs completely, Jake. Out of the playoffs completely. And, I have a couple teams that I think can go all the way to the Super Bowl. This is in the NFC. I got Philadelphia, Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, Los Angeles Rams, the Seattle Seahawks, and the San Francisco 49ers. These are teams that are not only in the playoff picture, but I genuinely believe can make a playoff run.
Absolutely.
They have offense, they have defense, they have great coaching. There's nothing that these teams cannot do, and it just comes down to any given Sunday, and that's really what the NFL is.
Absolutely. Great sense of parity going on right now. And one of the big eye catchers, the Chicago Bears.
Yes. 100%.
Played great on Black Friday, absolutely took care of Philadelphia, and boost themselves to the 1 seed that we haven't seen since 2018, which is pretty outstanding when you get a call back to pre-COVID. So what is working for Chicago right now?
I don't know what's working, but there's a lot that isn't working. They're on a 5-game win streak, Chicago are. And if you look ahead to the games they got coming up, they play the Packers twice. They got the Browns, the 49ers, and the Lions. Now, outside of the Browns, sorry Browns fans, but outside of the Browns, these are all teams that are capable of going to the Super Bowl, as I previously mentioned.
Absolutely.
And when you look, especially at the Packers, they got the Packers twice. That is a divisional matchup. It is a division game. I'm gonna have my eye on that game because I believe in Chicago. I don't think this is a fluke 9-3 team like some other teams in the NFL. I really believe in these guys, and that Packers game, especially the first one, is really gonna catch my attention. But the second one is because they play the Packers this weekend. But the second game that comes near the end of the season, that's really what's gonna determine the outcome for both of these teams.
Yeah, and I agree. I do think there's a lot that right now schematically is working for them, but going forward, their schedule is a grueling one. So we're excited to see how that pans
100%.
out. Now, keeping it in the playoff picture, the AFC South is a division where, personally, I thought the Texans were going to win this division before the year with a record of 8-9. I thought this was a weak division, and it was just bad. Turns out that only applies to one of the teams. So right now, the Jaguars lead this division. Them and the Colts are both 8-4 in first and second, and then you have the Texans at 7-5. Who do you think comes out on top of this one?
Jake, I think the Texans actually come out on top of this one, purely based on the fact that they have a tiebreaker on both the Colts and the Jags. They're also on a 4-game win streak right now, not to mention that the Colts are on a 2-game losing streak. And if you look at the Texans' upcoming matchups, they got Kansas City this weekend, Arizona, Oakland, the Chargers, and the Colts. Now, these are some tough games if you look at Kansas City and, of course, the end of the season with the Colts. But those 3 games in the middle, that Arizona, that Oakland, and that Chargers games, these are winnable games. These are gotta-have-them games that the Texans are going to be playing. And I think that they can win those games. So regardless of what happens against Kansas City or the Colts at the end of the season, you really want that win against the Colts, especially a divisional rival. You really want that win. But if you win those 3 games in between those 2 games, I think you can make it into the playoffs above the Colts and the Jags.
And even then, if they say they win those 3, lose the other 2, that's still a 10-7 record,
That
which
is.
very well could get you in. So I agree. I think the Texans are going to be the ultimate South winner. Having the best defense in the NFL definitely helps get you there. The offense only has to score 21 points, and you're pretty much guaranteed to win the game. So lastly, we'll run through these really quick, because I know a few of them are kind of washes. The NFL awards, something that's even post-Super Bowl, but who's winning? Who do we think is going to win? And right now, I know our first 3 are all the same. Drake May would be our front runner for MVP, ahead of Matt Stafford and Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor would also be a runner-up in the Offensive Player of the Year race, where we both have Jackson Smith and Jigba. And Defensive Player of the Year, I think if you don't have Myles Garrett, you haven't watched any games this year. So
unstoppable.
Then it brings the rookies. And so I know you kind of debate this one pretty hard.
Yes.
But for me on offense, I have Tedoroa McMillan for the Panthers. I think he's really opened up this offense. And not only that, but every other receiver in that offense.
100%. You know, I'm going to stick in that same division with my rookie offensive player of the year. And I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay's wideout, Emeka Ibuka. You know, I've talked about him since week 1 of the show, and I've been speaking about him ever since. This guy is a quality guy. I mean, even with all the injuries that have happened on Tampa Bay with Mike Evans and all the other receivers, he has stepped up. He has been that go-to guy for this team. And I think realistically, he can continue to do that for the rest of his career. But for the rest of this season, he's good enough for me to win Rookie of the Year.
And Defensive Rookie of the Year is kind of an odd one. There's not really anyone who stands out head and shoulders above all.
Yeah.
I have Carson Schwarzenegger out of Cleveland, the rookie out of UCLA, but ultimately, I don't know if there's any wrong decision.
I'm not mad at Carlson's pick. I'm not mad at that pick. I'll go to Abdul Carter outside of the New York Giants. They've been a relatively bad team.
Yeah.
But there've been some good spots, you know, some Cam Scatterbo before he got injured. Of course, Jackson Dart. And this guy right here, Abdul Carter, their first round pick. I think he's a solid defensive player. He can be a great player for years to come.
Absolutely.
And he's really showed out in his rookie season.
And it's kind of deceiving when he only has 1.5 sacks, but
Exactly.
he has like 23 pressures on the year. So, Coach of the Year, I would go Ben Johnson. I know you have a different case for McDonald in Seattle. I think ultimately there's maybe 5 different coaches here. Mike Vrabel is going to be one that a lot of people talk about, but I think Ben Johnson's kind of been the reason Chicago's been good. And you have the same case for McDonald, I believe.
Well, you know, with Mike Vrabel, because he is my second, you know, like, outside of McDonald. He's been a coach before. He's been a head coach before. He's been a head coach at Titans.
Tennessee,
the Tennessee Titans. He's been a head coach here in New England. When you look at McDonald, he hasn't been a head coach before. He was the head coach in his rookie season last year, where they had 10 wins and only missed the playoffs because they lost the tiebreaker to the Rams. And now you're looking at them this season at a 9-3 record again. I mean, this is a solid coaching job.
Absolutely.
New quarterback. You lose your top receiver in DK Metcalf. You bring in Cooper Kupp. The emergence of Jackson Smith and Jigba under your watch. You just got to give the guy props.
Absolutely. And the new award introduced this year, Offensive Lineman of the Year. I know it's a hard award to pick since no one, if we're being honest, no one really pays attention to him. But my pick this year would be Tristan Wirfs, and I know people in Buffalo saw a lot of this guy in the Bills-Bucks games, just clearing the way for Sean Tucker in his multiple touchdown game. There was one play where Wirfs was untouched ahead of Tucker into the end zone. So I think he's been the most versatile. He's solid in the pass game, and he caught a touchdown this last weekend.
You know, and I really didn't have a pick for offensive lineman, Jake. I'm like one of those millions of Americans that watch the game and don't really care too much about the offensive lineman. Big guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. But I'd have to agree with you. I think I'd have to go with the Wirfs pick. You know, you opened up my eyes earlier in class today, and I was like, well, okay, he's really opening up the way for these guys. I watched a little bit of the highlights just before we walked in, actually. He's the real deal. So when it comes to offensive linemen, I would want him to be the first player to win it this year, the first player to win it in history.
Agreed. And with that, we will finally stop talking NFL. We will be back. Actually, we won't, because we'll be back with our power rankings and Super Bowl predictions with me, Ryan, and Joe.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
All right, we're here with the power rankings. We're going to whip through them real quick and talk some playoffs and Super Bowl. All right, number 10, the Philadelphia Eagles. We're exiled by the Bears 24-15. Right now, I think the Eagles are a joke. Buffalo Bills put some rust on the Steelers 26-7, and even some WD-40 couldn't get old man Mr. Rogers moving. Their Bills are pretenders. Indianapolis Colts were left laying in their stall in the manure by the Texans 20-16. They're pretenders too now. San Francisco went into the mistake by the lake and served up Shadur 26-8. San Fran pretenders. 6. Green Bay gobbled up the Lions on Thanksgiving Day 31-24. I think they're solid. Seattle Seahawks at number 5 blanked the Vikings 26-0. Seahawks are solid too. The Chicago Bears at number 4 clawed the Eagles 24-15. They're pretenders. The LA Rams, some would say stunned, and others would say they saw it coming. Carolina is for real as they beat the Rams 31-28. Number 2, the Denver Broncos left the Commanders holding their shorts 27-26 in overtime in front of the POS that wants to be like Vladimir Putin. Number 1, the New England Patriots pulverized the Giants 33-15. Okay, that is the top 10. We're going to talk our final. Who do we like?
Well,
In the AFC.
I think the New England Patriots, they're definitely for real. The Denver Broncos keep on winning. What is it? Like their 9th straight win?
They won
New
by
England's
1.
got their 10th straight win. I'm sure the team that we're talking about right now is the month of December. Weird things can happen in December. I'm not saying that they're going to fall apart. I'm saying that, stuff can happen out of nowhere. Let's talk about the AFC North. They're like in the middle. What is it? That's like a mid division, And Cincinnati's there with 4-8. I mean,
Yep,
Joe
they're
Burrow is
lurking.
back. They're going to give the Bills a run for their money, I think, this week. It's going to be very interesting what they see. I think Baltimore's probably going to win the division because they played Pittsburgh twice still. And I just can't see the Bengals winning it. If they lose a 9th game, that's a little tough to see there for me. But anyways, Final Four, I think who wins the division, New England, Denver. AFC South's interesting as well. I think Jacksonville right now wins that. And obviously, I think Baltimore's going to win their division. It's tough for me to say.
I would agree with most of those two. I think the Texans win the South, but ultimately the AFC is going to come down for me to the Bills and Broncos. And I think this is going to be an interesting playoff matchup if we get there, considering they played in the playoffs last year. And Bo Nix looked okay, but he looked like a rookie. This year he looks like a whole new quarterback, and especially in the late games, they continue to find ways to win. They're on a 9-game win streak, and I think they've won the games by combined 15 points. So they survive. And the main thing in the playoffs is you just have to win the game. It doesn't matter about anything else. So I think Denver's roster, with the pass rush they have, the protection they have, I think they're in the best spot in the AFC.
All right, for the AFC Conference Championship, I'm going to keep it simple here. I got New England and Houston.
Ooh.
I like
Wow,
that. I like
that
that.
is really, really interesting because if that's the case, Houston would, they struggle in the playoffs. You saw last year, it was,
They're tough, man.
They are tough.
Defense.
Their defense is really tough. I
Mhm.
will agree with that, and I can see them winning the division as well. I just think that, you know, it's tough to say because these teams are going to be battling out. There's no clear-cut number one team. But Houston, Kansas City is going to be massive this week. For me, this is tough to say because New England, I think, could make it one all the way, and they have Drake May. They got all that chemistry going right now. I'm going to say New England. I'll say New England, Denver for now. I'm not confident in that pick at all. Not
Okay.
really confident.
All right. You said you're two?
Yep, Bills and Broncos.
Okay, let's get to you start with the NFC.
All right. In the NFC, I do think it's going to come down to your two top teams right now, the one in the 2 seed being the Bears and the Rams. I think this is a great way for the Bears to actually start building this team that they want. However, I think they fall short and the Rams come away and the Rams meet the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
For me, I completely agree everything what you said until up to the Bears. I think the Packers, who they actually play each other twice in December, is going to be a big game for each other. And I think the Packers are a lot better team. They have the experience. Jordan Love has the player experience. I think that's going to come to play. And I just think the Packers are just flat out a better team than the Bears. And I got them winning that. And it's going to be the Packers and the Rams. Right now, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC, but I would not be surprised with that game being in Los Angeles that the Packers could win that game as well. That's a big one for sure.
All right. I totally agree with you. I got Green Bay and the Rams. I think Green Bay will win the division, and they could get a home game, and they won't have to go play 3 on the road. Okay, so we got our AFC and our NFC. Give me your Super Bowl, and give me your Super Bowl winner.
Rams. Right now, it's going to be the Los Angeles Rams.
Against who?
Against. I think we're making it out to be a 2018 all over again. Rams Patriots, the battle of the defenses. Just like, are we going to get a 10-3 game again? I don't think so.
What do you got?
I got Rams Broncos, and I think that Rams defense is going to be enough to throw Nick off of his game after a magical playoff run, and the Rams come out victorious in the Super Bowl.
All right. I got New England, Green Bay. Green Bay 35-17.
New England's efficient. They're very efficient.
We got a minute left. You guys want to gossip?
I think we'll save that for next semester.
I think so
Okay.
too.
All right.
Thank
For now, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
For now, our politics session's over. We talked a little bit about that. We didn't gossip at all. We're going to keep it clean, and you're going to talk.
The close. Thank you so much for sticking with us throughout all this semester. We hope you have a great Christmas and happy holidays. For Joe Margucci, Jake Moss, my name is Ryan Matola. Follow us, Buffalo Sports Insider, all over social media, and thank you so much.
Yeah, I got to thank Steve and Professor Franchek.
Yes.
Thank you very much for running this class.
Peter as well in the control room.
Pete,
Great
yes.
job.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Merry Christmas.